Glenda Jackson has not one, but 2 Oscars she can boast about. Not that she'd ever do that. One of those trophies is for the movie A Touch of Class, a film whose title aptly describes the woman in question. Mark Phillips has our Sunday profile.
I'm 91.
She's 81 years old, actually. Glenda Jackson is.
I was very good.
Not the character she's been rehearsing in the Broadway production of Edward Albee's classic, Three Tall Women.
You're hurting me. You're hurting me.
All right, I'm being careful.
A 2-time Oscar winner with a reputation for strongly held views, Jackson plays a difficult-to-deal-with matron.
You're hurting me.
So here you have a play which is entirely dependent upon 3 females, and that of itself is fascinating. A person could die.
It's a perfect part for her to return to a world where she has long and famously complained about the lack of good parts for women.
I mean, I can remember when I was still doing films, and I'm going back a long way now, it was not infrequent to have a woman in a film to prove that the hero wasn't gay. I mean, you know, that you saw that was the kind of reason for being. I mean, it's still, we've still got a long, long way to go.
Glenda Jackson has already come a long, long way. Her American audience can be forgiven for having lost track of her from the days when she was one of the dominant faces of British acting on American TV.
I want no husband. I am married to my country. I don't want my subjects to feel jealous.
Her 1970s role as Elizabeth I in Elizabeth R. was one of the series that defined masterpiece theater on PBS.
You're all the same, this obsession with male sexual prowess. It is so typically American.
Oh,
Her forays into the movies not only proved she was a bankable star who could do anything, but won her those 2 Oscars. One for 1973's A Touch of Class.
One does not have to go where the ticket says.
And another before that for Women in Love. But her route back to Broadway has followed some unprecedented twists and turns that had taken her far from the bright lights of the Great White Way to which she has now returned.
It's a process of constantly relearning, rediscovering. You can't really bring the past with you in that sense.
Hold on to me.
For more than 2 decades, her life had nothing to do with this world. Some might say she spent those years on that other kind of stage, the political one.
Glenda Jackson.
She was a member of Parliament for the Labour Party for 23 years.
And we serve and work for our people.
Drawn into that world, she says, by what she considered to be the socially destructive policies of the Conservative Prime Minister, Margaret Thatcher.
For me, the final straw was when she said there's no such thing as a society, and I was so enraged by that I walked into my closed French windows and almost broke my nose, which I didn't, I'm happy to say, do. But I've always been a supporter of the Labour Party.
Born into a working-class family, her father a construction worker, her mother a cleaner, Jackson came by her socialism naturally. And her principles were never compromised by the niceties of parliamentary tradition. When Margaret Thatcher died and other MPs paid tribute, she didn't.
Everything I had been taught to regard as a vice, and I still regard them as vices, under Thatcherism was in fact a virtue. Greed, selfishness, no care for the weaker, sharp elbows, sharp knees.
I think they were surprised because up until that point, practically everything had been praise. I mean, talk about rewriting history. I mean, it was astonishing. But then they calmed down, actually, and no, it was okay.
Just let Glenda have her say and move
She
on.
wasn't going to stop, so there we are.
Glenda Jackson decided to draw a line under her political career 3 years ago, and it wasn't long before her old life came calling.
I do confess I am old.
If you were to choose a gentle re-entry into theater in your 81st year, you wouldn't choose to play one of the most artistic and physically demanding roles ever written, Shakespeare's King Lear.
Rumble thy belly full, spit fire, spout rain.
I was blessed by my parents and my antecedents by a very strong work ethic. And I mean, being a member of Parliament was 24/7 just as much as when you're actually doing a play. It's not quite 24/7, but it's the work that counts.
The production was a triumph.
To the incomparable Glenda Jackson.
Jackson won the prestigious London Evening Standard Prize for Best Actress, an award she received in typically Barb style.
When I was feeding myself by being a professional actress, I never got a good notice in the Evening Standard. And when I changed direction and became a Labour MP, I was the wrong political party for the Evening Standard. So it has come something of a surprise.
You just say what you think and say what you feel.
So I'm left wondering, what did I do wrong?
They've given you this great award. It's not like gratitude is your first reaction.
Oh, no, I think that's a little harsh. I mean, I think obviously one is in that sense grateful because you're being given a gift, but it doesn't make you any better. I mean, no awards make you more talented.
At least Jackson showed up for this one. She didn't bother turning up for either of her Oscar wins.
I'd completely forgotten they were last night. It came as a total surprise. It never occurred to me that I'd actually get it.
Oh, come on now, you couldn't have forgotten.
No, I had forgotten.
I was very fortunate. I was filming, so I couldn't go. Perfect excuse.
Off the hook.
For the two other actors in the current play, Laurie Metcalf and Alison, working with Jackson was the main attraction.
My arm, the pillow.
So what do they say? Do you want to be in this with Glenda?
Do you want to work with Glenda Jackson? Yes, that's how I heard about it. And that's the reason that I'm sitting in this room right now.
Okay, blame me for everything.
I hesitate to ask what you've learned, but you can tell me if you like.
Terrible language.
Bad acting.
How you can get away with bad acting in 2 easy lessons.
As it happens, Laurie Metcalf has herself been nominated for an Oscar this year.
You should just go to City College. You know, with your work ethic, just go to City College and then to jail.
For her role in Lady Bird.
You learn to pull yourself up.
You're aware of Glenda's history with,
Yes, I
with
am.
Oscar, so you're considering emulating her graciousness and
Yes,
accepting.
I think I won't go.
Are you serious?
What do you mean emulating her? I had absolutely nothing to do with that. Nothing.
One of the things you quickly learn in an encounter with Glenda Jackson is that you'd better be able to back up what you say.
Is the very fact that this play is about 3 women with... There's no
If a
male
question gets a little fuzzy,
that it has to be this play about these 3 women.
this kind of thing happens.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Me neither.
I mean, what are you talking about?
3 Tall Women is currently scheduled to run into June. After that,
It would be lovely if there were things that came along that I wanted to do, yes.
Just in terms of your own career and what have you.
Can we stop talking about my career in that sense? Can we talk about my life? I'm extremely, extremely fortunate that at my age I have these opportunities, and I'm extremely grateful for that.